Hi guys, this is Anita from YourFirstNature. We all love our plants and want them to be healthy, right? But our plants are not really alone. They actually support an entire ecosystem around them, inside and outside the soil. As plant parents, it is important for us to keep that entire ecosystem healthy. Now the obvious question would be, what's in it for us? That's exactly what we are going to discuss today. Before I get into it, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button. That way you will be notified about our new videos every week. We post gardening related content every single week. I am a big advocate of understanding the plant's natural habitat in order to understand what kind of care your plant needs. In many of our earlier episodes, for example, the fertilizer series or even the watering series, I have always talked about understanding the natural habitat of that plant to keep them happy and healthy all the time in your house also. The reason why I feel that understanding the natural habitat is so important is that that's where originally our plants are used to growing. That's where they always thrive. But even in that natural habitat, if you think about it, all of our plants are actually coming from the wild, right? And in that natural habitat, in that wild space, they are not really alone. They are part of an entire huge ecosystem, and they are only playing a tiny role of that ecosystem services. In the wild, each one of these plants is performing a tiny role, probably a crucial role in the functioning of that entire ecosystem. That means in the wild, we don't really have to do anything for them to survive and thrive. It just works by themselves as a magic. The reason why it works so well as a magic is because every plant, every organism is doing their little thing all the time and doing it perfectly. In our home, they may not have to perform their entire ecosystem duties, but still this have another tiny micro ecosystem around them, which they have to take care of. That ecosystem has a symbiotic relationship with the plants. So if that ecosystem is healthy, our plants will be healthy. Now that we have established that taking care of that ecosystem is very important in order to keep your plants happy and healthy, let's get into each one of these micro ecosystems and talk about what kind of ecosystem duties they perform, and why it is important for them to thrive in order for our plants to be happy. First is inside the soil. Our soil may look like inanimate brown matter, but it's actually not that. It is full of life. Unless it is full of life, it will not be able to sustain our plants as well. These microbes, the bacteria, the fungi, in the wild, however tiny, they are probably so tiny that you cannot even see them with your naked eyes. But however tiny they are, they have a very, very important role in the ecosystem. The resources, that is the food and nutrition that is available in finite quantities. So when a plant grows, it takes up a lot of nutrition. But what happens when the plant dies, or even a part of that, or a few leaves or a few old branches die? That nutrition, whatever nutrition the plant is holding, it has to go back to the soil so that other plants or even the same plant can take that up again, recycle that entire energy, the food and the nutrition, so that they can keep on growing. And that's the ecosystem service all these microbes perform. They help to break down that organic matter and return the nutrition back into the soil. So the compost that we used as nutrition for our plant, it's nothing but some kind of organic matter broken down by microbes or earthworms or some other kind of organism living inside the soil. That brings me to the earthworms and all other types of worms or insects that eat the organic matter present in your soil and provide nutrition back to the soil. That's the symbiotic relationship I'm talking about. If microbes or these earthworms or all these worms are not present in your soil, any organic matter which is not properly decomposed will not decompose inside the soil, because there is nothing that can decompose that matter and make it available for your plant to take up through their roots. So to ensure that your plant actually gets the nutrition that they need, you have to make sure the microbes and the earthworms or all these worms and insects, they are happy inside the soil. Outside the soil also, starting from insects which are very, very tiny, very, very small, even birds, rodents, different types of animals, including mammals of all different sizes, including us. All of us are part of that ecosystem. All of us are relying on the plants in some way or the other. In return, these organisms also perform some kind of ecological duty so that the plants are getting their environment needed for them to thrive. If I have to generalize, then the main things that the plants provide to all the other organisms outside the soil are provide food, shelter, and reproduce. So a lot of these insects, birds, they lay their eggs on our plants. The eggs hatch and the young actually get their first set of food from the plants. I'll give you a tiny example to explain how much all these organisms actually depend on your plants. Think about a butterfly. An adult butterfly, they depend on the nectar from your flowers to live. They also need these plants to lay their eggs. The eggs hatch and tiny caterpillars are born. What do the caterpillars do? They eat the leaves. They're voracious eaters. They keep on eating the leaves. Within a few days only they eat a lot. They grow big and they enter their pupa stage. At that stage also they generally hang from some of those plants. After that, when they emerge into beautiful butterflies, we love to see beautiful butterflies sitting on our flowers. But just think about it. If we kill all the caterpillars at that stage when they are starting to eat all our leaves, no butterfly will be born. No butterfly will be there to pollinate our flowers, to come and sit on the flowers to drink their nectar and give us the joy that we feel. And not just about the joy. The most important thing is that they are very important pollinators. If they are not there, the butterflies are not there, then we will not have food, any kind of food in this world. Birds also perform a similar kind of role in the ecosystem. For example, a lot of birds actually do pollination by themselves. In the wild, actually, birds are responsible for dispersing the seeds of these plants. So plants are immobile, right? Even if they are producing the food and they have all the seeds, not all plants have that mechanism in themselves to be able to disperse the seeds around the place. So that's where birds and a lot of mammals, a lot of rodents also come into the picture. So they eat the fruits and they disperse the seeds all around the place, and that's way the plants also reproduce. Now, what do these birds and rodents do for us? They actually kill a lot of pests also from our garden. The tiny pests that we also hate, a lot of worms. Birds eat all these kind of worms. Rodents or the big mammals, they don't do any pollination or they don't even eat that much of pests maybe. But what they do is they sometimes eat some of the plants. They disperse the seeds definitely, like I mentioned, and also they sometimes do a very crucial thing, that is pruning. So in the wild, when we are not there to prune a plant, all these small animals, they sometimes eat the plants, and that encourages the plants to grow. So it actually works as natural mechanism for pruning. A lot of organisms that we in general don't really like so much, even I don't like them, like lizards and frogs and all these kind of organisms. They may not be our favorite organisms, but we have to understand they also perform a very crucial role in our plant ecosystem. For example, my garden doesn't really have a lot of pests, and the entire credit goes to all these kinds of lizards and frogs. They are natural predators for the pests found in our garden. So if you see my garden, you will probably find 3 or 4 or even more frogs all the time sitting some of my pots. Even lizards, I have probably 8 to 10 lizards all the time working for me, and they do a lot of work for me because they are constantly eating the pests that I don't want my plants to have. Those pests harm our plants. That's why we don't want them. In our tiny balconies, in our tiny gardens where there is no natural predator for those pests, they actually don't do any kind of ecological function. What all they do is they just suck the life out of our plants and they kill our plants, they harm our plants. but when they are part of an ecosystem, they are actually food for other kind of organisms which we need in our garden. For example, these frogs and lizards, they will eat all these pests and they will thrive. So these pests will not have the chance to get out of hand to the extent that they can actually harm our plants. So as long as I keep on seeing spiders and lizards and frogs, all these natural predators of the pests, I'm pretty much sure that my garden will be happy and healthy. So this is why it is important for us to support the entire ecosystem in and around the plants, not just our plants, because our plants are not meant to. They cannot thrive on their own. They need the entire ecosystem help, and the entire ecosystem also needs our plants in order to thrive and in order to live. And we are also part of that ecosystem. That's all for today. Please let me know what you think about this episode. If you have any questions, let me know. If you like it, please leave your feedback. If you find our videos useful, please hit the like button and share with your friends and family. And also do not forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button so that you are notified about our new videos every week. I will see you again next week with another brand new episode. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.